Liposculpture Talk, Episode 8. I am Chris Janota, your host, and I wanted today to do something a little bit different. I wanted to express my deeper thoughts, frustrations on exactly what I'm trying to accomplish here with this podcast. In case you were wondering, and I hope you do. So we should have done this from the very beginning, from episode number 1, but I waited till now. And so what I'm going to do is deviate from our typical format and just talk to you, unedited. If you're a regular listener, you'll know that here on Liposculpture Talk, we listen to patients and we let patients express their stories, tell their stories with liposuction or non-invasive liposculpture alternatives. And we hear from why they did it, what their thoughts are, what their fears are going forward with the procedures. We also hear from some of the top experts in liposculpture. We heard from Dr. Tim Zelko, Dr. Constantino Mendieta, Dr. Amir Jaffrey, and the CTO of Chromogenics, Kevin Williams, over there at the R&D team at Chromogenics. And if you've noticed, I like editing. I love National Public Radio, This American Life, Hourglass, Radio Lab. I love that kind of format. I love listening to National Public Radio, and that's the format that I'm after here. With liposuction, cosmetic surgery, it's a very emotional process to go through, and can bring about extreme intoxication if done right, almost like nothing else in life. So it's important to be real and have realistic expectations here, know what we're getting into. So the story format is a great way of bringing forward this information and providing it in a entertaining and informative manner for you. But today I'm going to take a time out from that and explain exactly what we're doing here again, just in case you care. So hopefully you do. And thank you for taking the time to listen to me here. I've been listening to podcasting myself since the beginning of iTunes. It's exciting to see the podcasting format take off as it has lately. So I've been wanting to do this for years. And I finally decided to jump in and have my own podcast. So here I am. Get used to me. I'm going to be doing this for a long time to come. More about me. I'm independent on this podcast. I'm not affiliated with any clinic, not affiliated with any device manufacturer. I'm free to talk about whatever I want and express any opinions I want. I'm in St. Paul, Minnesota. I run this podcast, record from my home. I'm in my office right now, overlooking my backyard, and it's a beautiful spring afternoon here in St. Paul. So this is where I usually record from, unless I'm out in the field doing an interview. I also run other online businesses, mobile apps. I love the internet. I run Liposculpturetalk.com, an online directory for the best liposuction clinics, non-invasive options, and take good care of myself. I work out, I run regularly, and I eat well, pretty well, okay, I guess. But, it's frustrating because it seems like no matter how hard I work out, I have my own issues with fat on my flanks, and it seems like nothing can be done about that. So I battle these things too. I'm trying to present myself as a novice. I am a novice in liposculpture. I'm just going through most of the stuff for the first time, just like most of you, but I might be a little bit ahead of you. I had suggested that I could talk about subjects that might be a little bit broader than just liposculpture, fillers, other things in plastic surgery that might command a bigger audience. But, no thanks. I'm interested in liposculpture and liposuction, non-invasive alternatives, and that's my area of interest here that we're going to stick with the focus here, the focus of the podcast. I think I can get away with, as being a novice, newcomer here, and ask questions, why and what, when I do interviews, and I don't have to command complete confidence. I'm not operating on you. I don't have to present myself as knowing all the answers. I'm just learning, getting questions answered. Consider me a liposuction virgin, if you will. I can ask questions. Technology is about making mistakes. And, any doctor, carries a fiduciary trust, always doing what's best for their patients. But doctors, have to run businesses too, And the pressure is to be efficient, to maximize their time, and to cut corners. We learn from our mistakes, and doctors are human too, and make their mistakes like the rest of us, and learn from their mistakes. But no matter what, any good physician is going to present themselves as knowing the answers, maybe even if you don't. Well, I don't have that pressure put on me because I don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to pretend to. So that is maybe to my advantage in bringing this podcast to you. I can step off the podium and really talk to you. I should have a disclaimer here. I develop Liposculpture Talk and its supporting outlets on YouTube, Facebook, and the podcast here as a source of information for liposculpture and non-invasive alternatives. However, this talk should not replace the opinion of a medical professional. All content here is provided to you for general information only and should not be treated as a replacement for medical advice. So that's the case with really anything you're reading on the internet, on any other podcast. If you're not going in for a one-on consultation, beware and take it all with a grain of salt. We're trying to educate ourselves here, but we're not getting definitive answers because you're not seeking medical treatment here. Let me take a break here for a minute. That's better. Deciding upon a liposuction technique or a non-invasive alternative and a physician is not an easy task. There's a lot of noise out there on the internet when you read. The web is flooded with liposuction information, a lot of opinions. In many cases, the stuff you're reading out there, it exists for the sole purpose of maybe selling a clinic or a new device. Over the last few years, we've seen the arrival of many new devices for liposuction and especially many new non-invasive liposuction alternatives. And that's part of the reason why I got into this, because it's exciting. This thing is evolving quickly. And it's interesting to think where this could end up in 10 years. All the machines, though, that come out say things that they can do things that the previous machines could not. Smart Lipo is one of the first. Cool Lipo, Pro Lipo, Aqua Lipo, Tickle Lipo. There's so many ways out there to make your fat go away. And it can be very confusing, especially when the manufacturers and sometimes the doctors that use them make maybe irresponsible or unprovable claims about the things that these machines could do. Another controversial subject with practitioners is whether some lipo-assisting technologies are even worth anything at all. Confusion results when practitioners might make claims about technologies being worthless, but the technologies that they use in their clinic are superior. And that's natural. It's not really surprising. What I often find is that doctors often love laser lipolysis or laser lipo or hate it. People that love laser lipo are the ones that are good at it and use it a lot. And it often comes down to the doctor's technique, the eye for the area, and think of liposuction as being liposculpture, artistic shaping of an area. If they love what they do, they give attention to detail in the area that they're working on, and they take time to do an area right, love what they do, and finish the job out, even the area out right, and take pride in their work. The tools that you use are great. More critical than your devices is your physician that is performing the procedure. So this is probably more the case for surgical liposuction than non-invasive lipo. I'm still your practitioner for non-invasive procedures, pretty important too, but not as critical as surgical lipo. I also find that laser lipo enthusiasts are often the earlier adopters of new technology, and they're likely the ones to have the best, most powerful machines, like the 18-watt devices, like the Smart Lipo Triplex, the newest thing on the market now. So you need to be careful what you read and what you believe and what their background is. I know I promised I wouldn't have any editing in this episode, but I just can't help but a nice flowing transition. I just can't resist. think about liposculpture technology and how it's evolved just the last few years, it's kind of astounding and where it could go. Basically, in just the last few years, we had FDA approval of a few technologies here, and it's exciting to see this unfold. Laser lipolysis, often marketed as a smart lipo. We've seen the arrival of that. Ultrasound, actually ultrasound's been around a while, but it's marketed as Vaser, and it's a more powerful technology now in giving smart lipo, a run for its money. Tickle lipo, with Tim Zelko in episode 1, there's many ways to destroy fat with a small incision and a cannula. And, they all have their strength, all these technologies, and certainly a lot of opinions about all of them. But now, at the same time, with the evolution of surgical liposuction, we've seen non-invasive options hitting the market and getting FDA approved too. We've watched freezing technology, low-level laser, RF, also using lymphatic massage to help the process, and ultrasound. All these technologies have been all FDA approved in the last few years, and they're all used to either kill or empty fat cells non-surgically. And if you think about where we've come in such a short time and where this is going to evolve in the next 10 years, it just kind of excites me. So we're out of the starting gates, and I guess we'll see who wins in the episodes and in the years to come. What seems to be happening now is you're seeing kind of a hybrid technology. You're finding different clinics bringing different devices into the procedure, or different machines now packed with different technologies. Like last episode, we talked to the guys at iLipo using low-level laser, bringing RF in their device, and talked to the guys at Fusiomed a while back. They're adopting cryolipo and RF, kind of a cryo shock, going from extreme heat to extreme cold in a sequence. And just the different technologies that can be worked into a box seems to be like a hybrid direction that we're going in. I also talked to Justin Richards at iLipo last episode, and he indicated that in the United Kingdom, he feels they're a little bit more ahead of the United States in accepting non-invasive alternatives into high street locations, meaning you're finding them at beauty spas and health clubs and different locations than you would typically expect beyond the plastic surgeon's office. And with the potential pool of prospects possibly using non-invasive liposuction techniques, the pool of candidates is huge and where this could go in the years ahead. So that's really what I wanted to express. It's exciting. It's groundbreaking stuff. And so that's why I'm focused on liposculpture, because I've been asked why I'm doing this. And I wanted to actually express some of my thoughts and frustrations with podcasting. I know that we're getting a lot of downloads, and since we started doing this in the first weeks, our download rate was like 0, but we're steadily increasing, and I'm happy with the downloads that we're getting. But the podcasting medium, it's very one way. Unlike blogging and videos, it's more interactive because you're at your computer and you get more feedback. But this is more of a one way from me to you. I just hope that the podcast is making a difference and having an impact. That's enough, really. That's what I want, is I care. It's a very emotional thing to go through this, and I want to do what I can to help you, more importantly than look your best, but feel your best. The benefit of listening to a small podcast like this is you can interact with me. Tell me what you want to hear. And you know what? If you do, it's guaranteed I'm going to go back. I'm going to get back with you. Even if you spam me, I'm going to get back to you. Let me know what you think about the podcast, things you'd like to hear about. And there's a very good chance we could talk about that. I'm planning to carry this podcast with 3 different types of episodes. Stories like you heard in episode 1 and 2 with Jasmine's Brazilian butt lift. Stories like that took a long time to produce. Basically, Jasmine had recorded her. If you didn't hear the episode, she carried a recorder with her and recorded her thoughts over a 6-month period through before and after her Brazilian butt lift. In episode 3, we went on the streets of Seoul, Korea. Kind of got a cultural perspective on plastic surgery and the Korean culture. We're also going to talk about technology behind liposuction, the evolution of these devices, and the doctors that are using them. So please leave a comment. My favorite hangout is Facebook, and I will be at the Aesthetics Show in Vegas in July. If you're going, hope to see you there. I scrapped 2 episodes already and didn't really think it was what you wanted to hear. So I've been working and refining what I'm doing, trying to adopt a podcasting technique that's going to work long term. And leave me a feedback too. I'd love to hear what you think. It's kind of my reward if you leave me a feedback on iTunes. I read every feedback I get. It's much appreciated.